But here we are. It's another Saturday. What a hassle. YouTube, the live YouTube app is being very wonky the last few months. So bear with me. When I play guitar, no matter what settings, it's a little wonky. And you can give me suggestions, but I have to tell you I've been troubleshooting this for 2 months. And everyone's having the same issue. So even though you're trying to be helpful, just know I've probably tried whatever you suggested. Anyway, we are here though. We are here. I see your comments. That's nice. Appreciate that. Here we are. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get the angle. I'm by myself here in San Diego. Um, Thank you for the comments there. It's wild. I'm gonna have the. I've been doing the YouTube thing for 18 years. On 18 years, 18 1 8, 18 years. I've been doing videos, and it blows my mind. But about 11 years ago, I had to. All of a sudden, I kind of disappeared for like a year, and then about 10 years ago, Marty Music launched this very channel that you guys are watching at this moment. Um, Also, have a little scratch in my throat. But yeah, so 10-year anniversary of Marty Music's coming up, and I'm going to be doing a show in Nashville on May 15th at Analog. I'm giving away a really fun, nice SG as well. So that'll be worth checking out. I've got the Marty Music Mountain Retreat uh, the week of August 25th and August 28th. That's a full-on music retreat with master classes and jam sessions, and it's at this great resort in the Catskills. So that's another thing to look forward to. Then in September, I'm playing a show in Chicago. So yeah, so I'm still trying to add elements to what I do, and I love doing it. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow when they change. When these platforms change, and they kind of make it worse for the user, but more power for the actual corporation. Of course, I understand that, but I'm just trying to go with the flow. So this is a lead guitar thing, and breaking out of the pentatonic box uh, is a really good thing to try and do. Um, let's let's see here. Let's go. Let's go E minor pentatonic. So the double dots, okay? Double dots right there. 12th fret double dots. So you'd have 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. So one thing right off the bat that I recommend when you're working on that pentatonic is hammering on as you go up the scale. So I was getting 2 notes per pick there. And if I speed it up, I'll make that not sound like the G major pentatonic. Good question. Does knowing and practicing diagonal pentatonic help break the mold, get out of the box? Yes, it definitely does. And what I think you're meaning, hey, what's up, Josh Narco? What I think you're meaning is the what I call the extended scale, because that's going diagonal. And so yes, and so that is one thing. But what I'm talking about right now is first hammering on, and then the opposite would be pulling off, like 15 to 12, 15 to 12, 14, 14, 14, and 15 again. Then also practice hammer on pull offs on each string like this. And then you'll get stuff like this. So you want to get used to not picking every single note. No thrills without your trills, or something like that. Um, okay. But then another thing that we want to add to that, and I'll talk a little more about breaking out of the box as well. The blues notes in two spots there. It's on the 13th of the A string. So now you have three notes with one pick or one pull off. Now I went one, two, three, four, five, five notes with one pick. Add that to what I was just doing. So now it's also on the 15th fret G string with your pinky. Now check that out really slow. Is that ever clear? Anyway, so we've got the pentatonic, then we've got hammering on going up, pulling off on the way down, then adding the blues note, which would be on the 13th fret A and the 15th G. Okay, so now the third finger or the ring finger on the 14th fret G. Okay, so you've got a bunch of different ways to access the blues note right there. You've got the pinky, so I'm just hammering on that blues note there. But I can also bend that. So I'm just bending it up a half step and back. So we did the pinky and bending. But now we can do slides. And you may say, well, which one should I do? Yes, is the answer. You should do all of them. And that adds variety to your playing right there. And I'm literally just in one little spot getting all this different variety, the pinky, the bend, and the slide, all in the same spot with the same note. So look at this blues note now this way. I can pick the 14th fret G, slide it up a half step and back. Casbo, 1, 2, 3, 2. How do I actually get better? Well, go to martymusic.com, sign up for a monthly membership, and look at the roadmap for the goals that you want to get better. One way to get better is know what your goals are. Getting better is too vague. Get more specific with what you would like to improve. Then I recommend just trying to learn tiny little new things, tiny little new concepts. Get the tiniest new concept down, then add another tiny new concept instead of trying to learn all this stuff in one sitting. Learn one little thing like today. Maybe just learn that you can start in the E minor pentatonic, that you're on the 15th fret G and slide down a half step. So instead of going down the pentatonic like this, I can do that, but slide on that blues note. Once again, before, after. Now I can go to that 14, slide up a half step and back. So the first one was, second one was, someone asked, where's that new SG? I got a white Epiphone SG that I'm giving away at my show May 15th in Nashville at Analog to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Marty Music, the channel that you're on watching right now. I'm actually in San Diego right now. And that SG is back in Nashville, so I don't have it with me. That would have been cool to play it in the live stream, but the majority of the people watching the live stream aren't going to be able to make Nashville, so why rub it in your face? Only about 100 150 people really have a chance to win that guitar because you have to be at the show May 15th at Analog in Nashville on May 15th, at the show in Nashville on May 15th, at the show in Nashville on May 15th. Okay. I know Rival Sons. I know Rival Sons personally. I actually, not everyone knows that band Rival Sons. Great kind of throwback rock band. Great band. Great. Everyone in the band's great. But I personally know the drummer, Mike Miley, and Jay, the singer. I know personally as well. But the funny thing is, it's not funny, but just one of those weird. If you've done music long enough, you tend to your world of musicians actually gets smaller. When I first moved to California from college, I'm from California, but I went to college in New Mexico. When I moved back to California in 1999, 27 years ago, I started looking for bands to try and join and audition for and all that. And during that time, most of the bands were some kind of hybrid of sounding like Nirvana and Green Day. That was definitely the two biggest sounds of bands, which I was more of a kind of more bluesy jam band, classic rock guy. But I could play that, I was pretty versatile. But so I auditioned for this band and I got a couple callbacks and I played with them a bunch of times. And they were called Bird or Bird 3, the 3 at the end, Bird. And the drummer, and so this is 1999, the drummer of Bird or Bird 3, who I jammed with, was a guy named Mike Miley, who ended up in Rival Sons. So I actually jammed with him many years before Rival Sons. And then as Mike Miley worked his way up. He played with a lot of. He's very professional, really good drummer, very professional guy. But as Rival Sons moved up the echelon of getting known, thanks Greg Levinson for the super chat. And if you guys are watching right now, you might have noticed that I found my career and identity along the way as well as Marty Music. So only a couple years ago, Mike Miley was commented on one of my videos or something, DM me something because he, most drummers play at least a little bit of guitar. I think you guys like these little story times. Um, if you don't, I'm doing it anyway. So Mike Miley, I remember playing with him 26 years ago, 27 years ago. And then, many, many, many years later, he messaged or liked one of my videos on Instagram, having no memory of playing with me because I didn't end up joining that band. So I was one of like probably a handful of guys trying to play with him. So there's no way he would have remembered me. I didn't wear my fedora. YouTube didn't exist. There's no way to, there was nothing. He did think I was a really good guitar player though. He liked my guitar playing, which is feels good. But so now, like, not quite 30 years later, he leaves a comment on my Instagram, and I write back. I said, "Hey, Mike." I said, "Mike, what's up, man? Did you know you and I have played together before?" And it was just like he just left but I didn't say what because I have a flair for the storytelling. He left a question mark. Yeah, what are you talking about? I said, "Well, I auditioned for a band called Bird 27 years ago that you were in, and you and I jammed together 4 different times." And then he sent the mind blown emoji. And so now we know each other. But we played together when we were young. It was fun. Also, since that, another little thing to just weird story, and then I'll get back to this pentatonic thing. So check it out. Pinky access to the blues note, bending, sliding, and then combinations for variety. Speakeasy Records 888 said, "Yo, bro, I met you in Nashville." I believe you. I meet a lot of people in Nashville. Pop C12 says, "Ever met John Mayer?" Question mark. No, I have not met John Mayer. I've met a lot of those guitar heroes and legends and hung out with them or direct messaged them. Like I've hung out with Joe Bonamassa and Slash and Billy Gibbons. Um, uh, long list, long list. I played with Phil Lesh from the Grateful Dead. I've jammed with Blues Traveler, a lot of young, more up and coming bands. I've had the pleasure of jamming with Aaron Paulson, the drummer that makes funny videos. He's awesome. Love that guy. It was great. But John Mayer, I've never met. I've never communicated with. He has liked some of my posts before, but he does not follow me. Never. I never got a follow from John Mayer. Never got a direct message ever, but he liked some of my posts. Oh yeah, I've hung out with Jack Black, Tenacious D. I mean, the fact that Slash knows me is pretty damn cool. I'm very honored by that. One of my most fun jams was playing with the Runarounds recently because they're so young and becoming famous, but learned from me. So that is a new kind of honor is where I'm meeting up and coming bands, but they actually learned from me originally. And so the runarounds was quite a thrill for that. You may want to keep To guitar. You may want to keep to guitar with John Mayer. Here's the thing about John Mayer. Just my experience, because I have friends that are friends with John Mayer. I had a business deal that I had about a year ago, and I actually had the same lawyer as John Mayer. The Black Keys new album's fantastic. Black Keys just started following me 3 days ago on Instagram, but I've also met both Black Keys. So once again, the list is so long I can't remember them all of the people that I had the fortune to meet. So I've hung out with the Black Keys. It's amazing. I love them. Uh, I've hung out with Vampire Weekend, and I taught guitar to Ezra Koenig, the lead singer of Vampire Weekend. I taught him guitar for about a year during the pandemic. But one more, just real quick on John Mayer, who I love. I'm a fan. I think he's a great musician, great songwriter. I love the Grateful Dead. I just met Warren Haynes 2 weeks ago. I met Warren Haynes for the first time only a couple weeks ago, and he was as sweet as can be. He had no idea who I was. I was just a fan. I mean, in his mind, I was a fan meeting him, and he was really sweet, really nice guy. I tried to like say, well, I have this YouTube thing, and it just didn't really click with him. But he was super nice. Warren Haynes was super, super nice. And there's this little kid that I've mentored named Sawyer Lee, who learned from my videos. I've also taught him some lessons, and he's a real sweet kid. Sawyer, he's only 11, but he's actually become friends with Warren just by being such a big fan of the Allman Brothers and Warren and all that. That I had Sawyer with me when I met Warren, and I was trying to explain to Warren that I mentored Sawyer, and he didn't really. It didn't really. I could tell it wasn't all clicking, but I was not offended at all. I'm just saying he had no idea who I was. The most famous guitarist I've ever met is definitely Slash. I've hung out with Slash, and he knew me. Slash actually knew me. I'm also friends with Marcus King. I produced the Marcus King Masterclass, directed and produced it for Marcus King as well. I own a lot of fedoras, but I just own probably like 10 of this exact one, who I've been wearing for a few years now. One more thing about John Mayer while it's on my mind, because he's super famous. John Mayer has influenced so many young guitar players. John Mayer is very famous. Besides being a well known and respected musician, he's also like a celebrity. You know, some musicians aren't as famous as a celebrity as John Mayer. John Mayer is a famous celebrity and a famous musician. I'd say he's a famous celebrity by dating a lot of celebrity females through his career. That he's not really doing that anymore, but that gave him a lot of extra celebrity. Maybe not for the best, but I think because of that, just being really famous, like a lot of non-musicians would recognize John Mayer and know who he is that don't play guitar, right? But I think because of that, John Mayer is very cautious and trepidatious with like guitar influencers, guitar YouTubers, or whatever. I think he's always probably tried to keep distance from me, even though I would never try and get something from John Mayer. I respect him. I want nothing. I like him. I respect him, but I don't need or want anything from John Mayer. But he doesn't know that, and I think when he meets other guitar YouTubers and influencers, I think he's just immediately waiting for that person to ask him to like be on their podcast, be on their channel, or just want something from them, which I don't. You know, I don't want it. I don't need anything from him, but I like him. Uh, so let's see. I like the Spin Doctors. I've met the Spin Doctors. Uh, and I do not know John Mayer, so we have no personal relationship. But I don't have anything against him. Okay. Oh yeah. Now, real quick, I was going to talk about, since the Michael Jackson movie came out and it's a big hit movie. There's this. I haven't seen the movie, but I guess at the end of the movie, they're at the Jackson Victory Tour, and he announces to the audience, "This is our last tour. This is our last show," basically as the Jacksons. It's kind of the end of the movie, and there's real clips of that that have been making the rounds on Instagram. And I made a comment, and this is a true story, another story time. I'm going to get back to the Pentatonic here. I also have a little, not a cold, I have a little bug. I have a little cough. I think I got it from my son. Never seen Johnny Marr. Okay, but the Jackson Victory Tour, where he announces it's their last show or their last tour, that was at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, and I was at that concert. So I saw the Jackson Victory Tour as a little kid. I was in third grade, and Thriller was the biggest album ever. It still is the biggest album ever, but Thriller was the biggest thing in pop culture. And um, the Jackson Victory Tour was the tour for that. And my parents took me to see the Jackson Victory Tour, and I was at the show where he famously says it's their last tour, and he's basically saying that he's leaving to go solo. And so it's just fun little trivia, Marty music trivia. Marty, myself, I was actually at that Jackson Victory Tour. So I've seen Michael Jackson in concert. I've seen John Frusciante in concert, just because someone made a comment. Um, yeah, it was an awesome concert. Good show. Both of those people. I do remember him saying that, but it didn't mean that much to people, because he people would rather see Michael Jackson. At that point, Michael Jackson was so famous, they'd rather just see him alone than with his brothers. At that point, he was so famous. So no one cared. That was just more a statement that he was making to his father, that his father wasn't going to rule him anymore. And I can relate to that in a different way in my career. And Marty Music's part of that, which is 10 years old now. So 10 years I've been doing my own thing. I never got to see Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was just too young. Wasn't playing guitar yet, so I was more into like pop culture more than blues guitar when Stevie Ray Vaughan was still alive. So I did not get to see him, but I've seen Eric Clapton. I've seen AC/DC. I mean, the cool thing about Angus Young, I don't know if he's underrated or not. It's hard to see that. Have I been to a Bonamassa show? I've been to many Joe Bonamassa shows, and I've hung out with Joe Bonamassa. I mean, I have Joe Bonamassa's phone number. We've texted each other. We're friends. We're not besties or anything, but Joe Bonamassa and I know each other. He got burned before that tour, if I'm remembering things right. And someone said, "Are you over or under 50?" I'm 51. I'm 51 years old. All right. A few more things about this blues note. 14 fret G string. 15th fret is the blues note. 16th fret is now part of that extension. It's part of the scale. The 16th fret G is the same note as the 12th fret B. So you can access that blues note, which is in between the fourth and the fifth, You can access it different ways. So one is start on that 15th, the blues note, and slide to the fourth. You can be on the 16, it goes 16, 15, 14, 12. I can go 14, 15, 16. Now I can do 15, slide to 16. I love that. And when you do that, you can grab the 15 on the B. I'm looking at your comments. Then here's a juicy one. Start on the blues note, so 15 of the G, slide up to 16, then go back to the 15 and slide to the 14 like this. Six string, you're just naming lots of AC/DC songs. I see it. Uh, Blind Melon debut album or Screaming Trees. I like both of those bands. And I have Blind Melon lessons. I feel like I've probably done I Nearly Lost You There by Screaming Trees. I imagine I've done that. Uh, I've done over 6,000 videos. Um, Willie Bird was playing in bands before I was born. I was born in 74. Gal Asaf says, what do you think about John Mayer? I talked about John Mayer for like 20 minutes today already. So you can go, when this live stream's over, you can watch. It was only about 5 to 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I nearly. I nearly lost you there. I nearly lost you there. It's taken all so well. I nearly lost you there. Na, 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 na. I wonder if that's the key. My ear and relative pitch has gotten better over the years. I've never had perfect pitch, but I just sung that in D. I nearly, I nearly lost you there. I think I'm getting better. Maybe it's not in D. Now I have to look it up. All right, I was a whole step off. Unless, yeah. So, oh. Lost you there. All right, yeah, I was not right. E, all good. I should listen to it to double check, but why did I sing it in D? I nearly. Now it's bugging me. Oh no, it'll get claimed if I play it out loud. It's all right. So this blues note I was talking about, there's just so much you can get out of that. Okay, one tip now about getting out of the pentatonic box. Now the pentatonic, you want to know it really well. But something whenever you play a lick, look at the look at the first note of the lick and then find that note on another part of the guitar. So if I played this, I am playing on a B flat, going up a half step. So where's another B flat? Right here. So that's one of the most valuable things about knowing the notes on the guitar. And you don't have to sit and memorize the notes. Um, you just learn little spots. Like the more songs you play in the key of A, the more you'll start to find those A notes. Also, a little tip: if you find the note on the E string, the octave, the next note is always a whole step up and a skipped over a string like this. And then when you find a note on the A string, it's the same thing. But when you find a note on the D string, it's actually a minor third up and a string over. And when you find the note on the G string, same thing. Minor third up and a skip a string over. So, but back to that lick. Starts on a B flat. So where are my other B flats? Well, 6 fret E string. That's complete. That has nothing to do with me memorizing a box. It has to do with me finding the first note of a lick I like, which might have come from me knowing a box, but not originally. Something cool about a lick is if you play them on the lower strings, it can actually end up being like a riff, like that. So I went okay, another B. Where can I find another B flat? So I really like that idea because now you're not you're not thinking of just a shape. You actually play a lick, find the first note of the lick, and then find another spot. So it's really training your skills in a different way. It is good to know all the boxes, but when we think of the boxes too much, then they sound like the box. Um, Whiskey Myers, yeah, I've heard of them. I haven't listened to them that much. Um, let's see. So I've been going for 40 minutes. Let's just talk. Give you a little idea on breaking out of the box. Foster Court to S2N. Always loved watching your videos, and my family is a big music family. I've been watching your videos for years. I love you. Well, thank you so much. It's really kind of you. Does a cheap equipment mean I will never get tone perfect? No, no. I mean, you want good equipment, but more fancy equipment doesn't give you better tone necessarily. You know, if Hendrix played a cheap guitar and a cheap amp, it would still pretty much sound like Hendrix. There's a scale to that, right? A really crappy amp that's fuzzing out and clipping or distorting or the speaker's broken. You know, there's limitations, but some guys like Jack White, I mean, they like cheap kind of banger guitars to you know um, to get kind of a raunchier sound out of it. Learning and playing an instrument over as many years as you have has taught you about delayed gratification. Delayed gratification? No, I've never thought about that. I'm not. I don't know exactly what you're specifically asking for, but when I learned E minor and was able to go to D to E minor, the fact that I never thought I could play guitar, but now I made something that sounded like music, I got instant gratification. It wasn't delayed gratification. I never started as a beginner guitar player thinking someday I'm going to be a professional guitar player. I just didn't. I was a teenager. I was playing for fun. I kept learning little things, and I would always get gratification when I learned one new little thing. It wasn't because I was going to try and be a professional musician, a rock star, a famous guitar player, anything. I wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to just learn one new little thing to add to the fun I was having. So I was always getting instant gratification. Andy Blue Sky Dive for the super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What inspired me to start playing guitar? Kathy 8010, very nice compliment. Looking extra trim lately. I appreciate that, Kathy. Um, it's a really boring tale. Eating less calories and really healthy food and exercising, not drinking alcohol and sleeping well and just being and then consistency of that. I'm not on any weight loss drugs or anything. I'm just eating super healthy, not drinking. I didn't drink that much, but like, going out to see a show, being at a gig, you have 3 beers, you do that a few nights a week. Next thing you know, it's an extra few thousand calories. Um, Andy Blue Sky Dive. I always find alcohol helps me speak a second language. Yes. I've heard that before. But no, I am on a health kick, and it's like anything. You get in a rhythm, and then you don't want to break your streak of your rhythm. So I'm like on a really good health kick rhythm, and I don't want to break it. Also, what's helped me is I have my show May 15th, uh, and so I'm like have something that's not so far away to like be kind of like quote unquote training for, just to like be fit and feel good. And then August 25th is my music retreat. So I'm going to use that as my next little goal. So I keep staying healthy. So that'd be like my next thing to strive for. Then I have a show in Chicago in September. So then I'm going to be like, now I have my thing in September. I'm going to keep looking. It's helped me a lot. I'm going to keep picking things that are a month or two ahead, big or small, to like try and, be trained towards, right? So I'm trying to think of it that way. And it's helped. It's really helped. But thank you, Kathy. Kathy and I have hung out in New York City multiple times. Kathy even got up. Kathy even got up on stage with me and the band. Uh, Marty, you look like the book Toxic Superfoods. Dude, I have no idea what that even means, but I actually eat really healthy food. Although toxic superfoods, I don't know. I eat lean protein and vegetables. You may like the book. Okay, maybe I'll check it out. I'm just been on a roll with that stuff. Also, dude, you're like on camera and stuff, or you're on stage performing. It gives me a little motivation to try and look better. And yeah, I want to be around longer. That's the other thing. Like, I turned 50. I was like, I couldn't really screw around anymore. I've got kids. I've got a life I really enjoy. Um, and I'm older now, so it's like, I can't really, you're like in your 30s and you're like, oh, someday I'll tighten everything up. Next thing you know, you're 50, and it's like, okay, too late to say someday. It's now. Um, Whatever. Uh, some tips for starting a band, even for 11-year-old kids like me. Well, times have changed from when I was helping little kids form bands. It seems like maybe School of Rock, the not the movie, the like business School of Rock. Seems like kids can meet each other in that, and they help you put bands together. And then I would think if you did that, then maybe you can maybe get friends there and do bands outside of that. That seems like a community that could bring you together with some other musicians in the same age group and the same interests. Um, that's as far or like meet other guitar teachers, maybe have them help a guitar teacher help with some, because a guitar teacher has other students, meet, look up, if you're a guitar player, maybe look up drum teachers and just reach out to a drum teacher or a guitar teacher that teaches bass and say, hey, I'm a guitar player, I'm 11, I want to be in a band. Basically what you have to do is do reach out. You have to reach out. And I'd say reaching out to guitar or to music teachers would be really good, because they would most likely be trusted. If they're successful, they're trusted in a community, and they have students and they know other teachers, and it's the term is called networking. It still exists. But anything that you want bad enough, you can make happen. Luca Coco. Luke, can I shout out Luca Coco? Luca Coco, shout out to you, Luca Coco. Marty Music's birthday. Uh-oh. Oh boy. No Limits is the best Bulgarian group. I will take your word for it. I don't know that for a fact. But anyway, it's opinion anyway, isn't it? Just wondering if I'm attending Lollapalooza 26 or if I'm into music festivals in general. I have no plans of going to Lollapalooza 26. I'm guaranteed there's bands and musicians that I'm friends with that are going to be part of it. My favorite kind of way to be in a music festival is to be playing in it, like Bonnaroo in Tennessee. I played at. I played with Slightly Stupid at Red Rocks last summer. I'm going to play with them again. Um, I think I'm going to play Bonnaroo this summer again if it doesn't get rained out or weathered out. Cool. Can you explain some triads to me? One real easy way to see a triad is a D major chord. All major chords and minor chords have three notes in them and the same formula. So a major chord has a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth. I just found a D note right here. The major third's right here, and the perfect fifth's right here. So those are the three notes of a D major triad. That relationship is the same for all major triads. If I wanted to play a G sharp major triad, A major, B major. Now a minor triad, that third is a half step lower. So instead of, right, that sounds happy. A minor triad has a root, minor third, perfect fifth. But that relationship's the same for any root note, that same relationship. So then if I know the notes, well, I get what you're saying, but someone said it sounded Mexican. That was that was what I was playing together, but a triad doesn't sound like any ethnicity. It's three notes of a chord. So a C major triad. So if I knew my notes, I could see that a C major is the note C, E, and G. So anywhere where I can play C, E, and G, I can play a C major triad anywhere on the guitar. So here's a C. Here's an E right here. And what I say, a G right there. So there's a C major triad. Here's an E. Here's a C. Here's a G. So here's a C major triad. Here's a G. Here's an E. And here's a C. G, C, E. C, E, and a G right here. This will be weird. G, E, and C right here. So a triad is three notes that make up a major chord or a minor chord, and the formula is the same. The relationship shifts depending on which chord you're playing with the root. So anyway, that's a triad. That's a triad in 10 minutes or less. Any bluegrass, any licks out of E? Well, we're in on electric right now. Doesn't sound like bluegrass on electric. Best way to go about learning lead guitar by ear, and the best way to learn rhythm by ear. Don't limit yourself to just by ear, or limit yourself just by theory, or limit yourself just by memorizing scales. Learn music, learn every way to learn that's at your disposal. The information out there is free. If you learn by understanding what's happening and your ear, you're going to get better way quicker than just learning by ear. Just learning by ear is going to slow you down compared to learning by ear, learning by someone showing you a chord shape. For instance, if someone tells me a D is this, I just learned it because someone showed it to me and I learned it in 5 minutes. But if I'm listening to music and there's all these different chords and I have to learn by ear, I'll be a better musician. Maybe I learn that D, I'm going to learn that D chord, but maybe it takes me, 2 days because I'm deciphering notes. A root note, someone asked, what's a root note? A root note is the note that the other things are revolving around. So if I play a D chord, the root is D, and it's typically the lowest note. A root of a tree is the bottom, and then it goes up. The root, the other notes harmonizing off that root note. Root is what the other notes are harmonizing to, and where the chord gets its name, where the scale gets its name. B funky K K K K K K K K K K Y with the super chat. Thank you so much. Someone asked for Drain You. I don't remember it off the top of my head. Favorite Green Day song. Favorite Green Day song. Uh, mm, well, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I like that in. I like Wake Me Up When September Ends because he uses a little Beatles compositional idea. Now, someone asks, is a triad the same as triplets? No, they're not the same thing. A triad is a relationship of three notes. Triplets is a rhythmic phrase. Triple, a triple, a triple. Triplets referring to rhythm, triads referring to notes. If I'm a beginner, what's the best guitar to start with? There's no correct answer, but a nice like an Epiphone SG, which I'm giving away at my gig May 15th, is a real man. They're making the Epiphones have never been nicer. They're very affordable. You can become a professional with one, but it's cheaper than a Gibson. I would get yeah, I like the an Epiphone SG. My niece just started learning guitar recently, and I helped get her an Epiphone SG. So that's literally what I did for my own family member that wanted to start. I got her an Epiphone SG. So that's my answer. Favorite Nirvana song? I don't have one, but Lithium's really good. DB Warrior says, "Hi, sir. I'm a beginner. Started playing just a week ago. I have PRS Silver Sky. What do I study to advance quickly?" I really think you should go to martymusic.com and buy Electric Guitar for Beginners and follow it chapter by chapter. It's literally cheaper than 1/2 hour private guitar lesson with the teacher, and it'll teach you all the steps in the right order to be playing guitar. Electric Guitar for Beginners at martymusic.com. And I believe that. Yeah, I'm promoting myself, but I also believe it. Smooth by Santana. I have a video for it. Go check it out. Marty, what's your most favorite guitar solo and the one that you learned first? Yoko's cut piece. That's a lot of questions in one question. I don't remember the first guitar solo I ever learned. The first guitar solo I ever learned was just learning the pentatonic and noodling myself and just kind of improvising. I never really was into learning solos note for note. I don't know. I just maybe didn't have the patience. I got better at soloing by learning the pentatonic and learning. Yeah, I learned licks, but I didn't learn solos all the way through. I learned licks. Guitar teacher would show me a lick. So that is a familiar sounding guitar lick, but it's not from one song. I got a lot more success just learning licks and learning scales. Best guitar song in your opinion? Come on. Best guitar player ever? No. Stop. What amp should I start with? Get a Boss Katana. Freebird. I don't think you can join on YouTube. Any tips for learning songs by ear? Yeah, try and find the root of a chord. So you hear it playing. Try and find the roots, like if it was iron I don't know what. Like Johnny Be Good, right? Learning songs by ear, I might just be like found the root, where's the change? What do you think about your fame? Don't you think you changed? I don't know. When you say my fame, it's weird. because nothing happened to me overnight. I've been doing this 18 years. I wasn't just like quote. I don't honestly. I don't know how to. It's weird to answer that question because I want to say I don't feel famous, but then people would say that I'm just saying that to be humble. But what I'm really saying is I don't feel famous. Not whether you think I'm famous or not. I don't know the answer to that, but I don't feel famous. Also, if you don't play guitar, then I'm absolutely not famous, right? So that's called niche, being in a niche, which is different. But also in 2026, there's niches everywhere, right? There's some real famous YouTuber that only talks about cars. And to people that love cars, he's super famous. But to me, I don't know who that person is, right? So I'm in that category. I'm in a niche. Um, so I think that's what I mean when I say I don't feel famous. I understand 2 billion views means a lot of people have watched me. Guitar modelers are getting really good. Someone's asking about that. I just played with this guy, Hunter Hayes, who I've been friends with for about 10 years now. He invited me to play with him at his concert. And there's two guitar players up there, and they both had modelers, and they sounded incredible. I had a real amp because I don't have a modeler yet. I assume I'm going to get one. Um, I have a question. So, how old were you when you started playing the guitar, and did you improve? I was a senior in high school, and I just learned a few chords for fun. And then I learned a fourth chord, and then I learned a fifth chord just for fun. Then I learned a sixth chord, but then, I just kept learning little things, and I found that that was really successful for me. How to improvise with the pentatonic scale. Go to soloing for beginners at martymusic.com. Well, this I love. Thomas Holmes 5188 says, all my family recognizes your, hey, what's up, you guys? Yeah. I said that naturally, not thinking of it as a catchphrase. And then people were writing it back. I mean, I'm talking, 18 years ago. People would write it back to me. So I said it naturally, but then other people recognized it. And so then I leaned into it and it became my catchphrase. But it started as a natural thing, I would say. In fact, I still say it naturally and then catch myself that I'm like, oh, like not on guitar, right? Like I go show up to a friend's dinner party. Hey, what's up, you guys? Hey, guys. Hey, what's up, guys? It's a natural thing for me to say. And then I catch myself, oh, I just said my catchphrase. What amp should I start with? Boss Katana. What amp should I start with? Boss Katana. What is your favorite Van Halen song? Ooh, favorite, maybe Panama? Tom DeLonge as a musician. I've met Tom DeLonge because I grew up in San Diego. I just met him as a fan. I think he's good. I'm totally fascinated by how crazy about aliens he is. I think it's fun. What's your biggest insecurity? I'm not going to answer that. Uh, Fallen Zen. You're so helpful and inspiring. Thank you. I need help. I don't get any better at guitar. I'm learning new songs, but after like a month of practicing, I always can't play it correctly. You just need to learn little things and get a little tiny little concept down, then learn another little concept, then another concept. Don't just try and learn songs. Getting into improvisation and wondering what scale. You gotta I'm 35 years in and I'm still practicing the pentatonic scale. There are other scales. Understanding the major scale is really important for music knowledge. Um, Gonna take my horse to the old town road. So let's see here. I don't know, Kiko, everything you keep saying. There's an open panel thing and it's blocked off. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have not seen the Michael Jackson movie. So I'm doing my own show May 15th in Nashville to celebrate 10 years of Marty music. And I'm going to open with this song and I'm going to sing it. I'm only going to sing the first song. I have all these amazing singers that are going to be a part of the show. Let me ride with you tonight, take you on a moonlight ride. There's someone I used to see, she don't give a damn for me. So let's get to the point, let's roll another joint and turn the radio loud. Too alone to be proud. You don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels to be me. People come, people go. Some grow young, some grow cold. I woke up in between memory and a dream. So let's get to the point. Let's roll another joint and let's head on down the road to somewhere I gotta go. And you don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels. No, you don't know how it feels to be me. Give us a crazy story from your music career. I've got a lot of them. I've told them before. I was playing a gig. This is before YouTube. No one knew who I was. I was in a band called Wise Monkey, and I played in this. We we're in like Breckenridge, Colorado. Played a gig on stage, big guitar solo, eyes closed, so I can't see it coming. Someone bear hugs me and attacks me on the stage, and our manager and sound guy come and pull the guy off of me, and they ask, uh, they pull this guy off of me and they fall off the stage and they pull him to the exit and the guy's kind of like out of his mind. And our manager says to the security guard, "Get this guy out of here. He's going crazy. He just attacked our guitar player." And the security guard started laughing. And our manager says, "What are you laughing for? It's not funny." And then the security guard says, "No, This is the owner of the club. So that's my little punchline on that. Yeah, I think we're done. It went over an hour. I appreciate you guys. I'm a little under the weather. I'm not like deathly sick, but just a little under the weather. Um, well, what happened was with the guy attacking me, he was on LSD. I mean, we learned this after the fact. He was on LSD, so he was like tripping. He was having like a psychedelic trip, and I was playing this big old guitar solo, and he loved the solo, and he jumped on stage, and what he was trying to do was actually grab the notes coming out of my guitar. Like he bear hugged me, but he was actually trying to grab the solo. So he wasn't trying to hurt me actually, but it was just really scary. Um, just telling the truth. Let's see here. Shabba dabba dooba. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I'm not like super sick. I just have like a little bug. So I'm a little tired, a little congested. But better to get it a little thing now than when I do my show in 2 weeks at Analog, May 15th in Nashville. It's not allergies. I got a little bug. Um, but yeah, my Van Halen and heavy metal skills are very lacking. Uh, Honestly, it's kind of refreshing that like song tutorials aren't don't do as well on YouTube anymore. So I actually always preferred teaching guitar techniques and theory and helping people get better at guitar. It's just song tutorials were what I had to do. I mean, I don't mind doing it, but it was like the main thing I had to do over the years. But it wasn't my favorite thing to teach, especially when it came to like Metallica and heavy stuff or Van Halen, which just wasn't. I never spent a lot of time mastering that stuff because it wasn't what I was more Allman Brothers, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Sly and the Family Stone, Led Zeppelin, Stevie Ray Vaughan, BB King, Jimi Hendrix. That was what really spoke to me. So that's what I spent a lot of time learning. So when I got big on YouTube, I had to teach everything, and it's kind of refreshing that the actual techniques and theory and all that is more popular for me now because I enjoy it more. Wow, million comments here. Ryan, the MVP 45. Happy birthday. My favorite Sabbath song? I mean, the cool answer was actually Van Halen was not one big lead riff. I disagree. Um, Favorite Sabbath song? I think War Pigs is probably their best song, but if I had to answer more cool, I'd say Fairies Wear Boots. Fairies wear boots, now you gotta believe me. Double stops, dude. I have a whole course on double stops, my friend. Go to martymusic.com. Keeps me in business. I have two college tuitions to pay for. I like Aerosmith. I opened for that was another Marty Music career story. I opened for Aerosmith. I played for a singer in her band opening for Aerosmith before my YouTube career. 50,000 people in Canada. So I actually was a professional musician before YouTube. I taught guitar as my day job, and I played in bands and I did sessions. Yeah, Guns N' Roses threatened to sue me if I ever taught their lessons. And this was years ago. It was like when I was like dominating YouTube, and they didn't like it. So I had to like promise them that I wouldn't teach any Guns N' Roses, and I took all my Guns N' Roses down off of Marty music. I'm not chewing tobacco. I don't do any tobacco. I don't do anything. I don't drink or smoke anything. I don't chew anything. No tobacco. Never did tobacco. I have NXS tutorials already. I love NXS. Best chord, F demented. Well, Guns N' Roses lawyers did that. Slash has nothing to do with it. And I know Slash. Slash is super cool. He doesn't deal with any of that stuff. It's just business. And then you say, well, other people are doing Guns N' Roses. Yeah, they do. But I was so big at the time that they stopped me. Uh, Best tips for getting quicker at lead guitar. Watch my lead guitar courses at martymusic.com. And it's funny because I'm plugging my business, but it's actually, I believe it too. You want to hear something? This is about the real world. Guns N' Roses thing. I'm relaxed. I don't care about the live stream anymore, but now I'm just talking. Here's something about the real world and something that makes probably tens of millions, tens and tens of millions a year business. No, let's call it Guns N' Roses Corporation. I think Axel probably owns and then just pays. He like kind of forced their hand years ago during their first run, where he basically said he leveraged the fact that you need Axel for Guns N' Roses, or there's no Guns N' Roses without Axel. There was Guns N' Roses without every other member. Did it do as well? No. But if it was owned 100% by one person, it only needed to do 6 times as well for them to make the same amount of money, i.e., Axl Rose, right? So in the 90s, at the peak of their fame, Axl had all these contracts laid out. He said, either you sign the band over to me or there's no more Guns N' Roses. So do you want to keep playing or not? And they were just had kind of forced. So then basically it all falls apart. And if you've paid attention, Axl for years had a band of other musicians and called it Guns N' Roses. And Axl sung, and this guy DJ Ashba was one of the guitar players, and I mean, maybe he had like the keyboard player from Use Your Illusion, but that guy wasn't didn't have ownership equity in the band. So eventually, enough time passed where Axl made a sweet deal with Slash and Duff and everybody for them to play again because they would all make a lot of money. And it's a business. But this goes to the thing of me. Give me a thumbs up, everybody, if you want me to continue this story. I'm getting to the point where me not being allowed to teach Guns N' Roses, and it's uh, it's real simple. Lawyers. This is about lawyers right now. Guns N' Roses. They make the company Guns N' Roses. Forget art, artistry, forget all kinds of artistry, whatever, right? Let's just talk about just the world and business for a second because it's called the music business, right? So let's just remove artistry, songwriting, guitar solos, inspiring people, whatever. Just let's just put that over here. And now we're just talking about the world of business, right? So there's a business that makes tens and tens of millions of dollars a year. I don't really know how much the Guns N' Roses corporation makes a year, but it's a corporation, right? Axel owns it, right? So there's lawyers that are needed for contracts, so many different moving parts that lawyers are needed for a big business that makes millions and millions of dollars. You just need one. So Axel, let's say, or even just a manager, not even Axel, they have to give what's called a retainer to the lawyers, right? Let's call it $5 million a year. So let's say at the beginning of the year, the lawyers, and it's a whole team of lawyers, let's say they get a $5 million check as a retainer. What this means is that they don't just get $5 million and just wait for work to do, right? They get $5 million that they now have to constantly be doing lawyer work, and then they write off the expenses that gets taken away from that $5 million. So it's the lawyer's incentive to be able to bill all $5 million and hopefully more, right? If they sit around and don't consciously charge for things needed, then they won't get that 5 million, right? So they have to bill, and lawyers will find a way. I've unfortunately had a lot of experience with lawyers. Can you guys imagine? Like, I've had a lot of experience with lawyers that I didn't want to have, but I've had it multiple. I hate to say how much I've had to deal with lawyers, spend on lawyers, have lawyers come after me, have lawyers have to do things for me to try and protect me. It's a lot. You know, I wish it wasn't. Okay, so a lawyer for a company that makes tens of millions of dollars, they do a retainer, and then they have to bill for that $5 million. So the lawyers now, Guns N' Roses is off playing shows, doing cool stuff. They're not really, you know, doing, lawyer stuff because that's what the lawyers are for. But the lawyers have to now find $5 million worth of work for them to do for the year. So instead of just chilling and relaxing and waiting for things to come their way, and then they bill, you know, a few $1,000s an hour for their services, instead, they now have to go look for things to do. So it's really actually more lawyers coming after me and then billing for all the hours it took to have like five lawyers on the phone with my managers saying they're going to sue me if I don't do this or that and just harass me because they're billing for their retainer, not because they even care. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. I mean, you get what I'm saying, why that happened, right? They're really lawyers billing for their retainer. So it wasn't like I mean, and I hear that Axel is obviously very strict about people, you know, bootlegging T-shirts or back when there would be like a bootleg of one of their shows, like he was very active about protecting Guns N' Roses brand. But ultimately, I think with me, it was just somewhere someone sent my video to somebody, and then it got sent to the lawyers. The lawyers frothed at the mouth, like, "Ooh, this could be like 20 hours of billable billable hours, right? And then because they were really threatening and just like wanted it to kind of drag on. And then eventually we just like I told my I had to like actually retain people and stuff. I had to tell them, look, whatever makes it go away, let's just do that. I don't need to fight to keep my Guns N' Roses lessons up. So eventually they were like, well, if you agree. Oh, and I had to pay them too. I had to pay them. They made me pay them money. It was thousands of dollars. I want to say it was like around $10,000. And I had to retain someone to deal with it and promise that I wouldn't take all my Guns N' Roses down and never teach Guns N' Roses ever again. And it was so many years ago. It was at least 7 years ago. Um, and I just let it go, forgot about it. It was funny though when I announced it, or I just said, "Hey, because all of a sudden people wake up and one day none of my Guns N' Roses lessons are up anymore, and so I was getting a lot of comments, and it was when Twitter was still really big. I don't even have a Twitter anymore, or X, or whatever the hell you call it. I really don't like it. I don't like X. I don't like Twitter. What that became, it's terrible. It's like mostly bots too, by the way, trying to rage bait. What's really what X is now is propaganda and rage baiting from bots. It was 90% of X and Twitter. Oh, but when Twitter was still mostly humans, where's your Guns N' Roses? Where's your Guns N' Roses? People were like tweeting Slash. I remember when it happened, people were tweeting Slash about it, and Slash was like, I have no idea what anyone's talking about. And I think Slash is awesome. I have no problem with Slash. I still like Guns N' Roses, actually. I mean, I love the first, I love Appetite for Destruction, love it. Lies, love it. Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, love it. So I'm still even a fan. It's all good. We good. I cannot sweet pick like Ingve. But one of my favorite guitar sayings is from Ingve. He said something like, "People say less is more. I say no, more is more." Favorite band of all time is the Beatles, with Led Zeppelin in a close second. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't mind talking about it. It was so long ago. Flying V guitars are cool, but they're not really comfortable playing sitting down. Bee Gees are amazing. Their harmonies are so good. It's called blood harmonies. It's when they're related. The harmonies are brothers. There's something magical about that. I never saw Zeppelin. I was too young. I did see Page and Plant at Irvine Meadows, which isn't there anymore. I actually love Huey Lewis in the News. I like Queen a lot. Never saw Queen. I haven't actually listened to Pantera enough. I'm producing some music. I'm working on a few new things more in the creative space that I'm working on. I'll let you know about it. I'm helping the new generation that grew up with me. Hottest female guitarist. Ooh, hottest female guitarist? Damn. I don't know. There's all these like Instagram female guitar players that are hot. I guess some of them are AI now, but they're not that famous, so I don't actually know. Dude, when Lita Ford was like at her peak in the 80s and I was like basically 13, like yes, she was the hottest for sure. Um I'm really trying to think of hottest guitarist though. Ooh, I like your username Nine Numb. That's a play on Yen Num from Return of the Jedi. I was never a huge Limp Bizkit fan. When they were at their peak, I was like super into like jam band stuff, like Fish and Blues Traveler. And opinions on heritage guitars. Well, it's a good guitar. Um, I wasn't very happy with trying to work with them. I don't think they did me well. I don't think they were cool to me. They're not even owned by that. When I was dealing with them, they're not even owned by that anymore. They got bought. Um, but I loved my heritage and went out of my way to like try and do stuff for them, and they dropped the ball big time. And then I met Gibson when they got new ownership, and Gibson treated me amazing. And I liked Gibson more anyway. Oh, Esteban Sanchez, are you still in Santa Fe? No. But this is from this is actually from Madrid in New Mexico. It's a cool little town outside of Santa Fe. I went to college in Santa Fe. New Lincoln Park singer. Don't know enough about it. I have a ton of Fender guitars. I love Fender guitars. I just have a working relationship with Gibson, and they've never stopped me from playing Fender either. They've been nothing but cool to me. And I have a lot of Fenders. I play them a lot. I tend to not play them as much in videos just because Gibson's treated me so well, but they have never said any exclusivity on me at all. I just want to be a good partner. I'm like getting more stuffed up as this video goes. Someone already asked me my favorite band. I said the Beatles, Led Zeppelin. Guitar collection vid. Done it in the past. You can look it up. I don't have that many new guitars since whatever the last collection video I did. I'm not really a guitar collector. My first guitar was a Yamaha electric with a whammy bar, and just kind of looked like a classic like shredder super strat kind of look. Well, my favorite mode is definitely Mixolydian. Oh, Esteban, you're a Santa Fe guy, huh? I had a great experience working at the Candyman. That's a music store. Rand, the owner, he was just the manager at the time that I worked there. But that's how I started teaching guitar. I worked at the Candyman music store, and people would come in and say, "Hey, do you know any guitar teachers in town?" And I had a business card, and I'd be like, "Actually, I'm a guitar teacher." And I started my guitar teaching career when I was working at the Candyman music store, which was down the street from my college, the College of Santa Fe. You want to get better at lead guitar? Go to martymusic.com. Well, I've been playing guitar over 30 years. I'm not keeping track how long exactly. Yeah, I do have guitars I regret selling more for sentimental reasons, not because it was like the best guitar. I wish I had every guitar I ever had. I actually had to sell some of my favorite guitars for lawyer money, and it wasn't for the Guns N' Roses thing, if you know what I'm saying. I actually sold about 11 years ago. I sold a bunch of my favorite guitars to pay for lawyers. But I own Marty music now. Favorite Weezer song? Is it My Name is Jonas? Is that the name of that song? It gets like really heavy, quiet and heavy. I like that. First guitar was a PRS, I assume you mean, at the Candyman. Well, I have about 6,000 tutorials. There'll be more. Favorite Jimi Hendrix song? Oof. Castles Made of Sand, maybe? Favorite food? I don't discriminate on food, but picking one, it is sushi. Good sushi, though. Jerry Rafferty, thank you for the comments. Develop your own style of playing. Learn a lot of different things that you love. Combine it in a way that only you could combine it. Because, for instance, Stevie Ray Vaughan, he took Albert King and Jimi Hendrix and others, but like he put them into his own stew. You do the same thing, only how you could as an individual take your favorites, put it all together. That's how everyone's done it. Who do you think is the most popular genre in guitar in this current society? It's probably John Mayer, honestly. Favorite tutorial I've made, dude. I out of 7,000 of them. Wait, let me think about that. There was one, oh, Impossible Germany by Wilco, the solo. I just did it for myself. It's like it's like an hour long. I love the band Free, Ride on a Pony. I've played a lot in bands. Do you think guitar will die the death the accordion did? Not anytime soon. Yamaha Pacifica is a good guitar to learn on. I've seen Guns N' Roses original lineup live when I was a teenager, and I did not play guitar yet. It was in LA. I grew up outside LA, so I got to see all the best bands. And Guns N' Roses was so great. Why isn't rock mainstream now? Everything has trends and comes and goes. Cool, Esteban. I've never met a Beatle. The closest I got to meeting a Beatle was, well, actually, I was about 40 feet away from Paul McCartney when he was on stage playing, but I wasn't going to meet him. And then Ringo was down the street from where I live in Nashville, just like 2 months ago. But nah, I've never gotten close to meeting a Beatle. Most memorable gig. Whew. Well, opening for Aerosmith in front of 50,000 people was pretty amazing. Last summer, I played Red Rocks with Slightly Stupid. That might be it. I played the Ryman a couple years ago with a band called Future Birds. So, like, kind of like playing the landmark places like the Ryman and Red Rocks. Really pretty hard to beat that. Playing a guitar solo at Red Rocks and people are screaming and they know who I am. Hard to beat that. Oh, I'm getting repeat questions. Favorite cocktail while playing? I'd say my favorite. I'm not like, I don't, never, I'm not like ever going to drink again. I'll have a cocktail here and there, but very responsibly and reasonably. So when I do have something to celebrate or a nice dinner or a celebration, my favorite cocktail is an old fashioned. Or is it old fashioned? How to mute other strings while you're above it while bending. Part of it's your right hand. You hit the strings. You have your hand resting on the strings up to the string that you're not picking. So it helps. You're muting it and picking the next string. So it's your right hand. Old fashioned. Yes, old fashioned. A good old fashioned is pretty good. Two are even better. Three is pushing it. And then four, it's not so good. Curtis Mayfield, Hendrix, Womack style chord embellishments. Honestly, my Hendrix course, because he learned that from Curtis Mayfield. Is Breedlove Canadian? Power of Love. Yeah, I've done a tutorial on that. And the notes are right, but I guess he played it in a different position. I actually know that Slash does not know good music theory. But here's the thing, that's semantics, because if you can hear the theory and play the scale that fits with the theory, then that is theory, but you might not be able to explain it. So then, thus, you say you don't know the theory of it, but your ear can hear it and you can play the right scale. So it's really that gets down to semantics then. But Slash would say that he does not know music theory. Anything that you can learn to make you a better musician is worth learning. Oh, Breed Loves from Oregon. I don't know the Canadian brands. Ryan's asking about single coil, but Nirvana. Get a Big Muff Pie pedal, and it sounds amazing with the single coil guitar, like Smashing Pumpkins. I think Larry from Primus is really interesting. Taylor's are good guitars. I like Martin acoustics a lot. Telecaster, you can play almonds on it, but almonds is very much a Les Paul 335 kind of thing. I would not put a humbucker in a Strat. I would just get another guitar that's a humbucker guitar and keep Strat's traditional single coil. Just my opinion. Size of pick, you got to just experiment. It's really more about how many repetitions you do with one pick that you get comfortable with it. I've never been to use I've never been one to use those tiny jazz 3 picks, but I also don't like a full Dunlop size. I like right in between. Let's see. This, oh, well, look at that. It's backwards right now. See how it's more pointy than a Dunlop? It's just a little pointier and a little smaller, but not super small. Amsterdam. My man in Amsterdam. One hot take you have in music. One hot take. I was doing the hot takes with some friends. I wasn't very good at it. Hot take. Just don't have one. Hello to Greece. Hinkle McCrinkleberry. Go to martymusic.com. You see Billy Strings broke his leg? Yes. That's my hot take. Don't skateboard if you're selling out arenas. If you're selling out arenas everywhere, don't skate. Don't skate before, don't skate after, don't skate. And it's not just because, and here's the main reason why. Yes, you can do whatever you want. You can put your career in jeopardy. The likelihood of hurting yourself skateboarding is very high. Tony Hawk, the best skateboard, the Michael Jordan of skateboarding. Just look up the list of injuries and surgeries he's had as the very best skateboarder. So, if you skateboard, you are going to injure yourself. You have a career where you're selling out arenas. Don't do it. But here's my main reason: you have hundreds of people that work for you that are relying on you to feed their families and to have their career. So it's more about your responsibility as an employer to not risk something that's just so unnecessary. Now all these people are out of a job. Billy Strings would be fine. I mean, Billy Strings is a millionaire. So it's not about that. It's about the responsibility that you have for these other people that are hardworking people that, they're totally screwed because you like to skateboard in between. It's just really dumb. And he heard it a million times and he didn't care. I mean, I feel really strongly about it because I actually know someone that used to do lights for Billy Strings. Mm. What would I be doing if I never became a guitar teacher musician? I think I'd be working in the film industry. You like Derek Trucks playing Jerry's guitar? Yeah, that was fine. I love Derek Trucks and I love Jerry Garcia. What's the worst guitar you've had? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, super, super. I feel really strongly about the Billy Strings thing, actually. because they book so far in advance, so these people have to pay their mortgage and pay for childcare and pay for a doctor. They know, for the next 4 months I'm employed, you know, and now they're not like that. And you don't in that industry, you don't just like go grab and jump on another gig. So I'm pretty bummed about that now that I'm thinking about it. It's just not cool. And so everything I'm saying has nothing to do with Billy Strings himself still being able to play or not. It's the responsibility for these other people. It's also why Fish like kept playing when Trey had such a bad drug problem. They had all these people. So Jackson Rocks, I really don't like your comment. If we're gonna go there, here's why I don't like your comment, because you said Guitar 365, Justin, Art of Guitar, Marty, or Paul Davids. I know all those people and I like all those people. I think they're great. So now, but you're here at Marty Music right now asking people to pick your favorite out of all these other people on my live stream. It's just not respectful, dude. It's not. Don't do that. In the future, don't do that for some other thing. Don't do that. It's lame. It's lame sauce. And like I said, I'm friends with those people and I like them. And I'm not even against people. I think we can watch from everybody and learn from everyone. I like all of them. But just to do that in a comment on my live stream is dumb. Did I make my point? All right. You're forgiven, but it's just dumb. Man, Justin and I have had some great times together. It's interesting. Justin did something that I did in the last like year and a half. He did it way, way, way early. I continued to chase the YouTube thing for way longer than Justin, and it worked for me. I don't regret it. I made the right call for me, but he let go. Well, it's also because he had children in a different time than I did. My kids were older, that's why I could keep going. But he had a baby. It just threw things off for him. But he switched focus to his website, his community, quality over quantity, not chasing the YouTube algorithm, just focusing on Justin Guitar, the website. I did that maybe a year and a half ago. I switched to my focus to that. And I'm actually happier because you can't control YouTube. Whereas, like my own website and my community, I can control that. And so, you guys might not a lot of people might know that are watching right now, but I do a lot. I do live streams on my martymusic.com. And the cool thing about those is that you can actually chime in on video, um, and ask questions. And it's a community that I've built for a while now. It's going really well, way better than chasing the YouTube algorithm. And Jackson Rocks, you're fine. Don't don't lose any sleep over it. I was I was serious, but also like I really don't care. But I'm just saying, like, joking or not, just read the room. Just don't do that. It doesn't. I'm not. I'm gonna end this live stream any second, and I'm never gonna think about that again. But I do also believe in what I said. But I'm not mad. I really don't care. I just think it's a dumb thing to do, joking or not. Like I wouldn't want you to be on a uh, Carl is guitar lesson 365. I wouldn't want, although I don't know what he's up to. I know Carl. I like him a lot. But if he was doing a live stream, I wouldn't want someone going in there going, "Oh, Marty, go watch Marty." I wouldn't want that. So reverse it. I don't want that either. So like, don't do that. It's all good though. I'm not really mad. I just think it's not the best choice. Do girls like guys who play guitar? It doesn't hurt. Definitely doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt people. um, I have a really funny memory about that because I didn't play guitar yet. I was in high school. I went to this high school party, and this was the '90s. It was about a year before I started playing guitar, and I went to this high school party, and there was this guy who I still know, and he was like already like a dude that girls liked a lot. He's like a good-looking guy, Southern California. He had long blonde curly hair, like his hair looked like Robert Plant. He the, the girls already liked him. He was a popular guy, very good-looking guy. And I show up to this party, and he is sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce with an acoustic guitar, and he's surrounded by girls, like Duck Duck Goose, like circled by girls. And he's singing, I'm the one that wants to be with you. Deep inside, I hope you feel it too. And the girls were swooning. And it's the I have the strongest visualization of that. And me thinking to myself, wow, that's a superpower. It's a superpower. Fun pal Steve 8747. Thank you. I'd like to have a baritone guitar. I don't have one. Like if you're not very popular with the ladies and you play guitar, you'll be less not popular. If you're popular with the ladies and you play guitar, you'll be even more popular. So it is an enhancer. It's like it's like a seasoning. There's more to it. Like if you're just like playing like shred metal, it's not gonna be girls don't like that. It's a spice. It's very spicy. Well, thanks for the comment on my teaching skills. When I learned guitar, I learned from friends in a casual way, and then I decided when I started to teach that I would teach the way I wish someone would have taught me from the beginning. So I'm always teaching the way I wish someone would have taught me, and that doesn't work for everybody, but it resonates with a lot of people. Thank you, Landy Boy 97. Appreciate you. Oh, and just to let you guys know, the first Saturday of every month, so today's the second, the first Saturday of every month, I'm doing these public YouTubes. And then 2 to 3 live streams a month I do just for members at martymusic.com. Johan Vandermeer 2469. Thank you. Josh Norco. Do I ever get to use pyrotechnics on stage? I don't think so. New Mexico, Scott. Greg Levinson, the Marty group is great. Yeah, Greg's part of the community over at martymusic.com. That's what he's referring to. And Greg drinks his Yingling with ice. See, that's how well we know each other. Do guys like girls who play guitar? Yes, I do. I like many of them. Favorite guitar, Gibson ES 335. Martin D28. Classics. All right. It's time. It's time to go. I need a snack, etc. I like the Bleach album. It's fine. Orange Amps are pretty good. They're very British, very crunchy. So it depends on what you're trying to do. Thanks, Josh. All right. We're going to leave now. Take care, everybody.